Well, this is our 34th year. We're manufacturers and suppliers of all content monitors for ships and tankers, and we supply those to a worldwide network of agents. We've got about 30, just over 30 service centres and distributors worldwide in 28 countries. This last couple of years, it's really gone well. 2008 was a troublesome year for everybody when the world stopped spinning. So we plateaued for about 3 years and then decided that we needed a plan, a proper business plan. So we decided to strengthen our agency base, our distributor base, and that started last year really. We added 5 new territories. We sell to other equipment makers like the oily water separator makers. They put our product on their product and then sell to, through their distribution network. We sell direct to the shipyards if we're dealing with tankers, and we sell directly to ship management companies. We're small as a company, but we're very quick to react. We have an unusual network in as much as any stock held anywhere in the world can be pinched by any other distributor, and then we balance that, and that's fairly unique in our particular space, and that's a level of service that a lot of our customers want. If a ship can't move, it can't earn. So we've made sure that we've got stock in all of our overseas distributors, so you effectively get local service. The most common failure of any oil content monitor, given that they use optical light techniques, is measurement cell fouling. So the oily water that goes through the measuring cell of the equipment, it precipitates calcium, it precipitates oil. Effectively, the tube, the optical tube, becomes dirty. Maintenance on board isn't necessarily the highest priority, and our equipment, being a mandatory piece of equipment, isn't the most loved piece of equipment either, so it tends not to get any attention. So we designed this very cheap way of manually cleaning without having to stop the process, and this being a very cost-conscious industry, we managed to design this manual clean and could include it for no extra charge, and that still makes us unique in the industry. The Smart PFM 107. That's a monitor that was designed primarily for drill ships, FPSOs, offshore platforms, dirty water applications, produced water applications, where it's not only oil in water you're looking at. There's solids, there's oil-filled chemicals, that kind of thing. Now that market has been served very well in the past by our competitors using different techniques, mainly ultraviolet light. The problem that technique faces is the fact that other things other than oil also fluoresce. So you end up with what the industry calls false positives. So a ship that's trying to discharge all of its deck drains through the oily water separator can't, because the oil content monitor sees the oil-filled chemicals as oil and therefore stops the process. So we, in conjunction with a university in the UK, over a period of about 3 years, developed this new technique which doesn't use UV light, doesn't use scattered light, any of the current principles. It takes pictures of the oily water sample as it goes through the equipment, and then it looks for particles, and it can then tell the difference between what is an oil particle, what is a solid particle, and what is a gas particle. We've done a trial with a company in the US called McDermid, which makes this kind of oil-filled chemical blowout preventer, and we don't see it. Therefore, with our new monitor, you won't get these false positives. The electronic oil record book. Well, that's really come about again over time. It's been probably 10 years again in the making. It started life many years ago when a prominent oil major had an oil spill in Australia, and they were blaming it on the oil content monitor that sits in the engine room space. Well, we didn't believe that to be the case, but after they went to court, they came to us and said, could you make something that gives us more integrity, that's tamper-proof, that the crew can't mess about with? So we said, yeah, we can come up with something. So we designed this elaborate piece of equipment that had lots of checks and balances and logic and so on. And that was back then. Since that time, there's been things in the press called magic pipe discharges and mandatory $1 million fines for falsification of the oil record book. So we thought, well, we can do something to help the industry, to help the seafarer not make those mistakes. So primarily we designed something which is an electronic recording device. So the whole process of oily water discharge is monitored from start to finish, from the time, the date, the latitude, the longitude of the start and of the stop, the amount of fluid in litres that's gone overboard, and actually the amount of oil that's gone overboard, because we can calculate that with our oil content monitor. And at the same time, because we liken it to an electronic spider, it's got sensors everywhere, it can help prevent this magic pipe discharge. The irony of the magic pipe discharge that you hear in the press is that usually no oil's gone over the side. It's the fact that they've made mistakes in the oil record book. Because they're under pressure, they don't have time, they forget to complete it, and when they go back to complete it, they've forgotten what they did. But with the ORB, as we call it, electronic oil record book, you can recall any discharge and then use that to annotate the oil record book. Our strong position in China and Korea, it's been the work of the last 12 years. We've been fortunate enough to find some very strong distributors out there, technically trained with their own service personnel. We make all of our own equipment in the UK, which some people might think would be too expensive. Well, as a small company, one of our secrets, if you like, is we're very good at taking cost out of equipment. So after the prototyping has been done, we then look at ways of how can we really get this, the equipment price down. So even though we employ European engineers, we buy product from Europe, we are cost competitive against the Koreans in their own marketplace.